What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Wednesday's Late Night Agenda. Just a quick check, it is Wednesday, isn't it? Yes, it is Wednesday, so here we are. When the kids are on school holidays, these days just blend into each other. So, my friends, how are we? It's great to be back chatting with you live. Appreciate you guys dropping in on Monday. Obviously, we weren't live yesterday, but from now on in, we're back live every day between now and, of course, the Brighton game coming up in the weekend. We're going to be talking about Pep Lijnders' future. We're going to be talking about Lucho, of course, as you can see from the title of tonight's stream. Bit of an update around FSG's search for another club. Liverpool and Manchester United have also come together to try and stamp out tragedy chanting and loads of other bits and pieces. Some injury updates, of course, as well ahead of the weekend. But most importantly, I hope that you are all in fine spirits wherever it is that you guys are tuning in from today, and I appreciate you giving up some of your evening to come and have a chat with me. So, 4 p.m. streams, they will be coming back, Danny, but during the international break, mate, there just hasn't been news to justify them, of course. So yes, they will be coming back for Monday, mate, don't worry. It's just now, between now and the weekend, with the kids off school and a few other bits and pieces, the appetite just isn't there because there isn't enough information to justify the two streams. But don't worry, we are going to be back at them from early next week. So we'll have 4 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Between now and then, we're probably going to just do 6 p.m. video and a 8:30 stream. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have a huge day. We're going to go right from 1 p.m. all the way through to probably about 8 o'clock with the two games back to back. Right, how long is Robbo out for? Well, Dylan, we will get into that. And the short answer is at this moment, we don't know. We don't know. We just have to wait and see. But, you know, it seems like people are optimistic with regards to the ankle injury for Robbo. But I'll cover it in a bit more detail as we go on. Troy King said, missed you yesterday. Thank you. We were out for dinner last night. It was a lovely meal, and it was nice to catch up and unwind with Connor and his missus. And yeah, it was a nice, relaxing one. Any confirmation for Cardiff, said Toes. Well, the good news is we're really close, actually, on the 3 venues. I had spent today on the phone for a lot of the day talking to the venues. Ben as well was on with Cardiff. So I'm hoping that, yes, we will have the date sorted for Belfast in May, for Cardiff and Liverpool or Warrington in August. So I'll hopefully have those announcements for you guys soon. But we are at we're getting to the good part of it now. The dates look like they're doable. The venue's certainly interested in doing the shows with us. So yeah, I hope we have some news on that for you soon. Right, can you please give me a goal to edit? I don't know what that means. Do you want a goal as in an actual goal, or do you want me to give you a goal to edit as in like something to look forward to? I don't know what you mean by it, but either way, yeah, let me know in more detail. Craig, sorry for the early question, but do you think we will win the Europa League after how terrible we played at United? So, I kind of disagree with you to a little extent. I don't think we played poorly at United. I just think we were wasteful against United. That game should have been killed off in the normal 90 minutes, and it's shocking that we conceded 4 goals. But your original point was, do you think we win the Europa League? Absolutely. Even looking at the pathway through to the final, I very much think we'll get the better of Atalanta, and then it's Benfica or Marseille in the semi-final. And again, I would fancy us to get past either of those. So the finals are one-off occasions. You know, they're a coin flip, but I'm confident. I'm so confident, in fact, that the show date we're looking for in Belfast is 2 days after the Europa League final. So yeah, I'm optimistic we'll get it done. We're the best team in the competition, and we shouldn't be afraid to say Europa League. The whole aim for me, and I think a lot of fans when we were in it this season, was to show that we're too good to be in it, and the only way you can do that is by going and winning it. It can be your favourite Liverpool goal. Cool. Right, Divock Origi against Everton, the one where Pickford let it bounce off the top of the bar. That one, Connor, will be awesome. Hope Liverpool do it. Also, the Wiley, I very much do. And do you know what? I think we will. I'm confident that we'll get it done. Right, really quickly tonight, I want to start off on tragedy chanting. Just really quickly, because there was an initiative that was announced, so I just want to read it out to you. This piece that was in the Echo said, Liverpool and Manchester United have announced that the club's foundations have launched a joint programme to tackle tragedy chanting in football. Tragedy chanting abuse is an ongoing issue within the game, particularly with Liverpool and Manchester United supporters in recent weeks. Oh, sorry. Let me just check my mic. 1 sec, folks. Sorry. You don't need to stand there. Okay. Sorry, folks. Bear with me. I don't know what the issue would be with the mic, but let me check it. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. I'm just checking we're on the right one. Is that working? I've changed the setting, so I hope that we're on the right one. Connor said Mike sounded fine at his end. I don't know. I'll get back into this anyway. Sorry for the interruption. If you're watching this back later on, just scroll past this bit. So let me get back to what I was speaking about. Anyway, I've changed the microphone setting to one that has a filter built in, so hopefully that works. Anyway, I'll go back into it. Tragedy chanting. Liverpool and Manchester United have announced that the club's foundations have launched a joint programme to tackle tragedy chanting in football. Tragedy-related abuse is an ongoing issue within the game, particularly with Liverpool and Manchester United supporters in recent weeks, with supporters referencing Hillsborough, the Heysel disaster and the Munich air disaster in an attempt to taunt opposition fans. Two Premier League clubs who meet again at Old Trafford on April the 7th following their FA Cup encounter at the same venue earlier this month will hold a programme alongside the Premier League aiming to teach school children and young fans about the impact of tragedy chanting. And I have to say I very much welcome this initiative from both clubs. I think it's brilliant. Look, we've often spoke about the next generation of fans coming through, and often you will get youngsters unwittingly singing songs that they're hearing on the terraces, but of course they don't understand the full context of, and why would they? They're kids, you know. So this initiative between both clubs to educate, I think is a good move forward, and I think will be welcomed by all involved. Obviously, this will have to be met with some stricter banning issues and stuff like that as well for those who are caught tragedy chanting inside the stadium. But I do think it's a great initiative from Liverpool and Manchester United. So, yeah, well done to both clubs, and hopefully it has the desired impact and we remove tragedy chanting from the football terraces, because it's disgusting. It does need to be stamped out, Gary. Absolutely, mate. It's, you know, it's a very, very disgusting way to try and get one up on somebody or another set of fans. And look, as I said, I'm not calling out a set of fans here. Every single fan base will have issues around these type of subjects, and it needs to be sorted out. So I don't want to spend too long on it, but I just wanted to give you guys an update on what the clubs have put out around tragedy chanting. So let's have a look at the Andy Robertson situation for a second. The latest that we have is obviously James Pearce said that Robbo was going to have a scan, but Chris Bascombe went a little bit further. Chris Bascombe said Andy Robertson underwent a scan on his ankle on Merseyside today with the hope that the injury sustained against Northern Ireland is only a minor setback. Truth is, though, at this moment in time, don't know if it's serious or not. But I don't know if it's just me. I'm kind of relaxed about it. Look, having Robbo not available is never great, but we do have Joe Gomez as an option, and I'm comfortable if Joe has to play left back, and of course Costas is there as well, giving the manager another option. So we'll wait and see what the verdict is. I'm sure we'll get that news soon enough on Andy Robertson's situation, and then we can, I guess, adjust our thoughts accordingly. Craig, I love you. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Sterry. Appreciate such a kind comment, mate. Thank you so much. I think we should bring in Julian Nagelsmann, said Kevin. So yeah, I guess that ties me nicely into the international break, mate, and the managerial situation as well as the player situation. So, Liverpool players all were out and about playing during the international break. Alexis McAllister was playing last night, scored a goal for Argentina and was taken off in 60 minutes as they beat, I think it was Costa Rica by 3-1. What does bug me, though, is that the Netherlands always seem to want to play Virgil van Dijk too much. And again, Virg played the guts of most of both of those two games, so I wish they gave him a bit of a break. So Virg, of course, is one we need to keep an eye out for. Other than that, though, I think we're okay. The Andy Robertson one seems to be the only real concern with regards to an injury potentially sustained on international duty. But to get to Nagelsmann, sorry. I'm okay with the idea of Nagelsmann. I'm still not fully convinced because of his rather up and down last few years. But there's definitely something there, and he's definitely a young coach that has something about him. Obviously, he's contracted to the end of the Euros at present with the German national team. They want to at least explore the option of extending that, although I can just see Jurgen ended up getting that job in maybe March of next year. It was talked about before. Other managerial candidates, De Zerbi, well... Let me just read it to you rather than say it, because, yeah, I do like to have my daily Florian Plettenberg update for you guys. And, well, today is no different, my friends. So, Mr. Florian Plettenberg, as I like to call him, the gift that keeps on digging, and the man that keeps digging the hole bigger for himself. This is what Mr. Plettenberg of Sky Germany had to say today. Roberto De Zerbi, top candidate for FC Bayern, in case Xabi Alonso stays put at Bayer Leverkusen. He goes on to say, Sport Bild confirms our news now. Because he loves to do that, by the way. He loves to find anyone that sort of agrees with him and, you know, tell the world about it. He said, De Zerbi is aware of Bayern's interest, but is currently fully focused on the season with Brighton. That's why he's not in negotiations with any other club, not with Bayern, Barcelona or any other club. However, Bayern's clear plan A remains Alonso. So, I'm going to say this real clear again for Mr. Plettenberg. You're talking out your hoop, sir. Nobody, and I mean nobody, believes what you're saying, other than the Bayern fans who, of course, will want to believe it, so that's why they believe it. But the rest of Europe, the rest of the journalists, don't seem to share the same outlook as Florian Plettenberg around Xabi Alonso. Now, whilst I fully believe it's possible that Xabi stays at Bayer Leverkusen, what I don't believe and what I refuse to believe is that he would look at the option of managing Bayern Munich as a more favourable one or a better opportunity at this point of his career. For me, this is the now or never for Xabi Alonso. I think if he doesn't take the Liverpool job now, I think it's sending a message negatively and it will look bad in the future. Now, might be on my own on that. I'm very much a mindset of, if you don't want to come to Liverpool and they make an offer, whether you're a player, a coach, a manager, a sporting director, it doesn't matter. If you refuse Liverpool Football Club once, in my opinion, no, that's it. And if Liverpool offer the job to Alonso and he doesn't take it, I don't know. I can only speak my own personal thoughts on it. And I just think it's weak-willed if he doesn't take it, and probably not the character that we want. But that being said, I do think he will. And I do think Xabi Alonso will become the next Liverpool manager if he leaves Bayer Leverkusen. I don't buy into the Plettenberg stuff at all. I just have seen him talk out his backside way too often about too many things. And even this story about Alonso, it's in and out, up and down, changing stories. I just don't believe it. But they're welcome to De Zerbi, by the way, if De Zerbi is their choice. I don't want him at Liverpool personally. Moses said, Craig, I feel Alonso will stay for another year and go to Madrid. Again, I'm being honest here, mate. I can see why that's a possibility. And if Xabi Alonso does decide to stay at Bayer Leverkusen for another year, I totally understand that as well. But, you know, if you really want to become Liverpool manager one day and the opportunity arises this summer, well, look, if he stays at Leverkusen, as I said, I can understand that. But I don't for 1 second believe that he will turn down Liverpool to go to Bayern. I just don't. I think we're a safer option. I think we're a better option. And I think we're putting a structure in place that will provide the stability and the resources that he'll need. But then again, like I said about the Bayern fans wanting to believe Florian Plettenberg, obviously as a Liverpool fan, I want to believe that side of things. Plettenberg just throws a new name out there every week. Sorry excuse for a journalist. So what gets me about it though, Alex, is it's not like Florian Plettenberg is just a regular journalist writing for a paper or a magazine and doing his thing. He's saying this stuff a lot of the time with a Sky Sports Germany microphone in his hand. And to me, that's questionable, because Sky are obviously a multi-billion pound operation with a huge ability to define a narrative, let's say. And I think that his credibility will be destroyed. I say that because I will go out of my way to make sure, if he's wrong on this, that he's reminded at every opportunity that he's a liar. Because this isn't a case of an opinion. He stated fact in a lot of this with regards to, as an example, he said that they'd held conversations with Xabi Alonso. Then, I think it was 2 days later, Bayern Munich's, I think it was the CEO perhaps, one of the upper echelons of Bayern Munich came out and said, nope, no conversations have taken place with Xabi Alonso or his agent. But according to Plettenberg, that had already happened and he'd already indicated his preference to go to Bayern. But nobody else in the world seemed to have that information. I hate people being taken for fools. And I hate people taking us football fans for fools. So if Plettenberg wants to continue to dig this hole and is wrong, well, he's got to be reminded of that. And Sky are equally culpable in my opinion. But then again, Sky in my opinion are a joke. And let me tell you why. Like I said to you the other day, this whole situation with the PGMOL is a disgrace. And it's taken people like Robbie Fowler in his column, I think it was in the Mirror. People like Frank LeBoeuf and people like, who else was on there? Shaka Hislop. And I can't remember who else was on that ESPN show in America. To actually have a backbone and call out the PGMOL. Oh, and while we're talking about the PGMOL, the gift that keeps on giving, don't worry, they've bestowed a gift upon us for this weekend. Your officials, ladies and gentlemen, for Liverpool against Brighton at Anfield on Sunday are as follows. Referee, David Coote. VAR operator, Paul Tierney. Now, I looked at the Daily Mirror for this announcement, and the Daily Mirror's headline was, again, almost goading that the Premier League or the PGMOL are trying to go out of their way to make Liverpool annoyed about this. Why is it that we can't seem to go a game week or two without having Coote and or Tierney somewhere in the process? And they both have form for shafting Liverpool. Let me just give you a bit of background for those of you who maybe aren't as up to date on the refereeing situation as some of us are. They have form for shafting Liverpool and Liverpool fans. And I'm going to read some of that out to you now. So, this article that I've pulled said, it's tricky because the PGMOL, who are in charge of referees in the top flight, have announced their appointments for this weekend's games. The referee for Liverpool's match will be David Coote, while Paul Tierney will be on VAR and Dan Cook, the assistant VAR. Here's the part that's important. All three have had run-ins with Klopp and Liverpool over previous seasons. Coote was the man in the middle when Liverpool drew with title rivals Arsenal in December, controversially failing to award a penalty for a handball against Martin Odegaard. He was also stood down for a match day back in 2012 when, as VAR, he failed to punish Jordan Pickford for his horror tackle on Virgil van Dijk, which resulted in the Dutchman having a ruptured ACL, and Klopp was furious. It stinks. It stinks, lads. I mean, come on. It's never ending. They've just shafted us before the break and they want to do it again. So, let me know your thoughts on the refereeing appointments. David Coote as the referee and Paul Tierney on VAR. What could possibly go wrong? But if you guys haven't seen that ESPN clip yet, it was Craig Burley actually, that's what it was. Go and watch it because they call out Howard Webb very, very strongly. In fact, they went as far as to say if Howard Webb came into the studio, they'd wipe the floor with him. And then Robbie Fowler on his latest piece as well was talking about the fact that Howard Webb is expecting us to see things with our own eyes and accept his nonsense explanation of it, even though it doesn't make any sense. So this to me needs to come to a head. And I keep going on about it, but we need to come together and sort this out because we cannot keep getting shafted. They're not even trying anymore. They're not even trying to hide it. Like, here you go. Here's Coote. Here's Tierney. Enjoy. The House of Pain member for 1 month. Thank you, mate. Appreciate your membership post. Thank you. The referee appointments are horrendous, said T. Why wasn't Pickford punished, said Mohammed. Well, Mohammed, I guess the correct answer to that I'd have to give you is because it was missed somehow by the VAR official who was looking to see whether, I don't know, it was a penalty or there was an offside. But yeah, it's disgusting, mate. And Coote has been at the heart of this. Coote and Tierney are the two biggest culprits when it comes to shafting us, in my opinion. Whether that's the handball of Odegaard that wasn't given, whether that's the situation before the international break at Manchester United again. It just never ending. It's ridiculous, and they don't seem to. The Premier League don't seem to care about the situation. Let's say I have to be so careful when I talk about these things because, of course, I don't want to land myself or the channel in trouble. That's what a sad excuse. The refs are a joke, said Darkness03. It almost feels to me like Liverpool will have to win the league in spite of the PGMOL. So it feels like we go into every game where these lads are appointed and we're playing against 12 men. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that the referee is intentionally trying to favour the teams we're playing, but I'm kind of getting the feeling that they are intentionally trying to shaft us. And I will draw your attention again to the incident with Doku and Alexis McAllister, where the VAR official, Stuart Atwell, said both come in high. No, they didn't. And nobody challenged. Michael Owen on Mic'd Up didn't have the balls to challenge Howard Webb. Didn't have the balls to say to him, Howard, your VAR operator there said both go in high. They don't. Your VAR operator said Doku gets there to the ball first. He doesn't. The whole thing is a farce. And I'm so grateful that we have the likes of Robbie Fowler and that we have those ESPN pundits, because the pundits in England, your Gary Nevilles, your Jamie Carragher's, your Redknapp's, your Micah Richards, your Roy Keane's, none of them have the backbone. Or they don't want to call that out. But their game's been destroyed and we're watching on. Well, these referees are making decisions that have huge consequences and they haven't got a backbone to speak up. And they have a cheek to often look down their noses at fan content creators. It's a joke. They're all cowards, a lot of them. They should hang their heads in shame. They profess to love the football as a sport and don't give a damn about it because they haven't got the courage to speak up. They know what they're seeing. You know what you're seeing. But Howard Webb keeps trying to tell us all that what we're seeing with our own eyes isn't actually true. And that if we don't own, to paraphrase what Robbie Fowler said, if we don't own a referee's whistle or a VAR monitor, that we somehow have no understanding of what happens in the game. Come on now. Anyway, let's not spend too much longer on the refs because I'm done talking about them, but it's never ending. We keep getting told we're reading too much into it, said Adam Cooper. We do, but we aren't. So here's the thing, Adam, like I always say. The more people say to us, never your fault, always the victims, salty, all that type of stuff. The more they say that to us, the more they're giving fuel to the PGMOL. Because unless everybody says this is unacceptable for all of the decisions, regardless of their club allegiances, they're just going to feel more emboldened to keep doing it. It's a joke. And it's putting the integrity of the league in even more question when, let's be honest, it's not looking great at the minute. Everton facing a possible second points deduction, Forest appealing their points deduction, Leicester knowing they probably have another points deduction or a points deduction coming if they get back to the Premier League, Chelsea potentially having a lot of questions to answer about their past financial dealings under Abramovich, and that's before we even get into 115 FC. It's not a good look for football. It's looking grubbier and grubbier and grubbier. And if you add in the refereeing situation to it, the question is there any integrity left in the English game? Spurs mess up was a joke, but the handball versus Arsenal and the tackle of McAllister were worse for me as their explanation was ridiculous. So I agree with you, Canters, because I think the situation with Diaz, I can understand that being an error of communication. I'm open to that being a human error. But the rest of them, as you've said, that handball and the Doku challenge, the key for me in that, Canters, is that neither of them asked the ref to go to the monitor. And that told me everything. Chewit said, why would Diaz leave? Cool, let's move on to talk about Lucho, because I know he's part of tonight's stream title. And I want to kind of give you a flavour of why we're going to be speaking about Lucho again. Basically, Papa Lucho needs to stop talking. I'm going to read you out a little bit on him. He was speaking and he caused a bit of a stir when speaking to a Spanish radio station. This is what he had to say about a potential move to Spain previously and down the line for his son. He said, well, the truth is, I didn't have any knowledge that there was something positive from the Madrid clubs. He was speaking about interest in 2022 from Atleti and Real Madrid in his son, Luis. He said, I didn't have knowledge that there was something positive from the Madrid clubs. I heard comments and things, but I never knew that there was something positive. The Liverpool directive was more precise, so Luis could join them. It was hoped that he could join a club here, but it hasn't happened yet. Well, hope is not lost that he can go to Spain because he is still playing and the Spanish clubs are still active. And this is starting to really grate on me. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. He needs to shut up. At what point does he start to show Liverpool the respect that they deserve? Not only have Liverpool been incredibly compassionate with the Diaz family, as they should have been, in what was a very trying and horrendous situation that we wouldn't wish on anybody, but then not only have they brought him over, and you see him all the time at games now, they've made sure the family were able to spend Christmas together. And this is what we get. This is what we have to listen to again from Diaz's father. If your son doesn't want to be at Liverpool, quite simply find him a club and fuck off. I mean that sincerely. I don't really care what other people think about me on this one. If you still have a want to go and play in Spain, then get your son a better agent. Get your son an agent that will get Liverpool the money that would tempt us to sell. Because you shouldn't need to be convinced to play at Liverpool Football Club. And if you're still looking longingly elsewhere, then go get that move for him. Because I can't speak for you guys, as I said, but I'm sick of it. It's not once, it's not twice, it's multiple times now he keeps going on about Spain and his son. The thing is, nobody has the money in Spain to buy Diaz, or else they just don't think he's worth the money. Liverpool put the money where their mouth was. Got in ahead of Spurs and signed Lucho from Porto. And Spanish clubs were doing what they always do. Tried to tap people up, talk out their backsides and promise the sun, moon and stars, but not following through on it. It really grates me that the lack of respect for Liverpool's position from Diaz's dad here. I'm sick of it. No players bigger than the club, end of. Exactly, Kevin John. If you don't want to be at Liverpool Football Club, as Klopp has said, as many others have said before, fine, get a deal that works for the club and off you pop. NCE87 said he's very unappreciative, the father, after everything we did for him. Yep, you're right. He is. And look, nobody's asking for him to laud praise on Liverpool at every opportunity, but just shut up talking about Spain. Barca can't afford to sign Diaz. We know that, he knows that. Madrid have, quite frankly, better players that they've brought in than Diaz. And if he wants to go to Atleti, by all means, tell Cholo Simeone and the Atleti board there to pony up the dough, or stop talking about it, because it isn't going to work out well. It's going to end up annoying a large section of Liverpool fans, some of whom already feel that Lucho's performances haven't been consistent enough anyway. So it's a shame for me, because I like Lucho. I like watching him play, but his dad needs to understand the situation or just stop talking, because he's going to land his son, I'm saying hot water, but he's going to turn some Liverpool fans even further against Diaz, and he certainly is with me. And I can't lie about it. I'm sick of it. It annoys the shit out of me. Diaz isn't in our strongest front three anyway. I would disagree. I think he is. I would have him on the left side of a front three. But that being said, he's not irreplaceable to me. You know, if we're looking at the next Liverpool manager, be that Ruben Amorim, Xabi Alonso, both those playing systems where wingers aren't really part of those systems, they use wing backs. So Liverpool's ability or need for wingers is in question at the minute. So potentially, yeah, maybe a winger will get sold. And again, I can only speak for myself here, but I'm much happier at the idea of selling Lucho than I am of not giving Mo a new deal. I'd much prefer that we kept Mo around and got rid of Lucho if it came down to it. So I guess his dad's going to have to make sure that Lucho's agent steps up here and finds him a club that can give Liverpool a fee. $80 million for Diaz, I'll take any day. I don't know what his market value would be. I think 60 sounds about right. 65 for me. Like, he's not prolific. And I don't want this to come across, by the way, like I don't rate Luis Diaz. I very much do. I really enjoy Luis Diaz playing for Liverpool. But I don't like the sniping from Papa Diaz, who, as I said, the club have done a lot for. Just feels very ungrateful. Can you do a poll for how much we can sell him for? Sure, no problemo. Let me just get the poll up. Right, let me just seconds. I'm trying to give you as many options as I can here, so sorry, just one sec. Right, so 4 options here for you. 60 mil, 70 mil, above 70 mil, or below 60 mil. So I'll leave that poll running up there for a while. And also, don't forget, my friends, if you haven't already, please do check out the fantastic app, the best sports app in the game, as far as I'm concerned, from our friends at SofaScore. You can do so with a link pinned to the top of the chat. You can scan the QR code on the screen, or of course you can use the link in the description. Every single one of you that downloads SofaScore helps the channel out financially, and also you guys get a really cool, free, very detailed, and hopefully your favourite sports app. The thing is Dad is a weird guy. 1 second he's dancing at Anfield and taking pictures with fans, and the next talking about moving. Yeah, so I've got to be honest, X-Pulse you. I thought his dad had chilled out about this stuff because, as you said, we've seen him at Anfield celebrating. We've seen him on trains with the Liverpool fans sharing a drink. We've seen him kind of really look like he's settling into and enjoying time at Liverpool and the sun being at Liverpool. So to see him again talk during an international break, it just grates on you a little bit, doesn't it? It's just annoying. How was your night out yesterday? It was good. Yeah, it was really nice, thank you. Lovely meal, and couldn't say enough good things about the restaurant. Let me just get you some more information. Pep Lijnders. A little bit of interesting information today on Pep Lijnders. It's understood, according to Paul Joyce and many others, that Pep Lijnders is under serious consideration by Ajax to become their new head coach for next season. I think that would be a really good move for everybody involved. I think Pep Lijnders would be incredible for Ajax, and I think it would be a good step for Pep Lijnders in his managerial career. So yeah, for me, I think good idea. A lot of people as well wondering why Lijnders, isn't at Liverpool. And again, Chris Bascom has been speaking about this. He said, some people think that Lijnders should be considered to take over from Jurgen Klopp. However, Lijnders has made it clear from the start that he doesn't feel that this is a likely scenario. Yet if he proves himself as a successful head coach elsewhere, it's very possible that rumours of a return to Anfield could surface in the future. And I think a lot of people would understand that, certainly myself included. Yeah, I like that idea. Let him go. If he's a success at Ajax, you never know. Down the line, he's certainly got strong connections at the club. We all rate him as a coach. He's a very, very innovative coach. Great energy. So yeah, but I wouldn't feel comfortable personally with him taking over from Klopp. It would just feel like we haven't really made a change. LFC should warn Diaz to shut Papa Diaz up or he'll be fined, said Tanya Wheatley. I really don't know how the club would perceive these type of comments from his dad, Tanya, in all honesty, mate. Obviously, I don't speak on behalf of Liverpool Football Club, but I would imagine they're certainly not over the moon about it. Danny Bingham, how are you? He said, hey, gorgeous. So, just me? Thank you, Danny. We could continue to read out your comment, but no, I will. He said, sorry if answered already, but would you consider Scotland for a show? Massive Liverpool fan base. Also, any word on the wife's interview? So first thing, the wife's interview, yes, she got the job. She's going down tomorrow actually to be fitted for her Fire Brigade uniform for training and stuff. So yes, good news on that front. With regards to a show in Scotland, I'm sure we will figure that out down the line. As I mentioned earlier on, we're very close to being able to confirm a show in Belfast, a show in Cardiff, and a show either in Liverpool City Centre or in Warrington. I'm on the fence about which one I think is the better fit for us, but I hope to be able to announce these within a week. And also, thank you, Danny, for inquiring about the missus and the interview. Really, really means a lot, mate. Thank you. She's over the moon, as you can imagine. After everything that happened with Boston and how disappointing that experience was for us, to get that good news about Sabrina getting into the Fire Brigade, over the moon about that. He was talking to your wife when he said, "Hey, gorgeous." That's fine. That works. You know, I'm all for people complimenting my missus, mate. No problemo. You know, what I would take exception to is, you know, if she says my wife has bigger boobs than me, you know, then we've issues because I don't know. I think we could go head to head in that regard. Fire Brigade, really? Yes, mate. So our Fire Brigade here is what's called a retained firefighter service, where they're sort of on the fence between full-time and part-time. So yeah, they were recruiting and Sabrina absolutely nailed it. Came second from top in the physical side of it, in the whole process actually. So yeah, she's over the moon about it, and so am I. Incredibly proud, as I'm sure you can imagine. Can't wait for your Cardiff show, Craig. Thank you. The venue in Cardiff is going to blow your socks off. It is incredible. So it was my number one choice for any venue in the UK, and it looks as though we're going to be able to get that venue. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it. What's the age rating for the shows? That's why I'm hanging off at the minute, mate. I'm hoping that at the very 16 plus is probably where we're at, potentially 14 plus. So that's why I'm thinking Liverpool and Warrington. Warrington, I can make it an all ages event. If it's in Liverpool City Centre for the venue in mind, it would be 16 plus. So I'm leaning probably towards Warrington, if I'm being honest with you, because it's at a hotel with an event centre and we can book rooms in there as well. So I'm thinking that's probably where we'll go, just because it will give everyone a chance to come. And I like the idea of also trying to sell a family ticket where it's a reduced price if you're a family of 4 to come, something like that. Julian Nagelsmann's absolutely incredible. Look, as I said, I'm up and down on Nagelsmann. He's definitely a coach that has something about him. And look, he's had 2 good results with Germany this week, beating both France and the Netherlands. Especially impressive going over to France and beating them. So I'm not against Nagelsmann, but he would probably be 3rd on my list behind Alonso and Amorim for suitability to what we're doing. But he will come under consideration, strongly come under consideration. Can you name the venue in Cardiff? Yes, the Richard Burton Theatre is the venue we're looking at in Cardiff, the Richard Burton Theatre. It's an incredible, incredible venue. How much would you take to get rid of Gakpo? I wouldn't sell Cody Gakpo. I fully believe Gakpo will come good, as will Gravenberch. I think people just need to be a bit more patient and understand that, yeah, there have been up and down times with both, but they're all very young still. And in Gakpo's case, he's been played in a few different positions, not really ever been able to get into a rhythm. And I think he'll come good. So I'm not looking to sell Gakpo at all, or Gravenberch. Izzy said, can confirm the Cardiff venue is sick. Yes, it's amazing, Izzy. It's bucket list type stuff for me. So I will ask you guys only 7 minutes ago to let me know what you think the value of Lucho is. And so far, 38% of you guys think he's worth above 70 million quid. Interesting. Can you do a show in the Midlands, please? We were really close to doing Birmingham, Tanya, but in the end I wanted to do Belfast, so Birmingham will probably be the next set of shows we ever look to do, because Birmingham is somewhere we had in mind. Avian. Sorry, I just need to get my wife to turn off the heating because I'm cooking here. One sec. What was the question? Oh, yes, latest video on Lucho. I'm really annoyed by it as well, mate. And I started off the stream tonight by saying I'd just get to the point and go, if you want your son to leave so much, get his agent to get a suitable offer to Liverpool and off you pop. I'm a bit petty on these things. If you don't want to be at Liverpool Football Club in any form, whether it's a player, a coach, working in the ticket stalls, I don't care. If you don't want to be at Liverpool Football Club and you don't realise how fortunate and lucky you are, off you go. And that applies to anybody, whether it be the best player we have in the team or the worst player we have in the team. You should understand and know that Liverpool Football Club is a very special place to be. But it feels like Lucho's dad just wants his son to play in Spain. Gino Salvador, thank you for your very kind super chat, Gino. Appreciate you, sir. Said, hey, Craig, I think Jota starts ahead of Diaz and Nunez with Salah. Look, mate, I'm not in any way pushing back against the idea of Jota through the centre, Darwin on the left and Salah on the right. That works for me. I'm just being honest and saying I do also really rate Diaz as a player and I like him on the left as well. But in what you're saying, I'm not going to push back too hard against it because Jota's been incredible. You know, if his injury situation was improved, then I think Jurgen would have a real decision to make on his hands about the front three. I'm not an England fan, but to judge a team on two friendlies during a hectic Premiership and players not being available is crazy. I don't even like Southgate, but it shows how crazy some pundits are. I'm not a fan really of international football, Stargirl, and thank you for your super chat. But this particular international break in March is the most annoying of all of them, in my opinion. You know, the ones at the start of the season are frustrating, but right now, you've got managers, whether it be Arteta, Guardiola, Klopp, I guess you could even say Ten Hag, who have important weeks ahead in their careers and in the short-term futures of their football clubs. And yet they're having to send players off in the most decisive part of the campaign to play in mostly nonsense friendlies. Now, there was a couple of playoffs, obviously, for the Euros in there, and commiserations to any Welsh viewers watching, and congratulations, of course, to any Ukrainian viewers watching, and any Polish viewers watching, and any, Georgian viewers watching, I think it is. So, other than them, most of these were nonsense friendlies, and it's stupid. Like, we could be without Robbo now. For what? For a needless friendly against Northern Ireland. It's just stupid. This March international break is... I think UEFA need to look and FIFA need to look and give clubs a bit more power for friendlies. Because I get it. Managers, international managers, they have a job to do as well. They want to try and get cohesion in their squads. I understand it all. But God, the time of the year sucks. And then, players are going to finish up the season and a lot of them are going to have to go straight into international tournaments again. Does anybody look out for their welfare? Imagine the confidence boost United would have gotten after beating us in the international break broke it. It also gives managers a chance to catch a breath and, I guess, plan ahead. But I find whenever you lose going into an international break, which of course we did, it makes those 2 weeks incredibly long. And you're just counting on the minutes almost that you're back playing. So I have a few injury updates as well, by the way, because I did say we'd talk about that. If you want to read these in more detail, again, it's on the Echo. I'm just going to read you a brief synopsis of the ones I think are relevant to our conversation now. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, the update that the Echo have put on him is that the vice-captain nears a return from his knee injury that has kept him sidelined for the majority of 2024 so far, but still has some work to do. Klopp stated that he didn't expect Trent back until the second week after the break, which matches up with the away league visit to Manchester United. So they reckon the potential return date for Trent will be the Manchester United game on April 7th, which would also be the same for Diogo Jota. which I think is good news on the Jota front. They don't have an update on Alisson with regards to a time frame. It says not known yet. Curtis Jones, they say, thankfully though, his process looks to have been timed perfectly for the return of the Premier League this week, with his manager hopeful of his involvement in some capacity against the Seagulls. This will hinge on his progress during the break, and they hope that he will be back for the weekend. So, look, that would be great. Obviously, we got Gravenberch back on the bench before the international break. And now if we can reintroduce Diogo Jota and Trent for the United game, and hopefully Jones for this game, gives Jurgen a bit more flexibility. Because, of course, Alexis McAllister was playing with Argentina. I think he was the latest one of our players to play. It was early AM airtime that they beat Costa Rica yesterday, and Alexis played 60 minutes in that game. Hope you and your family enjoyed the trip to the US. Didn't get into the US, unfortunately, Ray. Discussed it on Monday, mate. And long story short, incorrect type of visa for a performance over there, which meant we never left Dublin Airport because the Homeland Security officers informed us that we didn't have the right visa. So $7,000 in the bin. No show in Boston, and I'm not going to lie, it's been a really, really tough few days since that. And that's why I continued to take days off, because I needed to get my head around it. It was tough. It was tough, and it hit me hard because I don't like letting people down. And I know that there were people who had tickets to the show and hotels booked, and of course they get refunded their ticket prices, but it sucked, man. And I'm still trying to get over it, in all honesty. But, you know, what can you do other than take it on the chin? You know, learn from it and move forward. Yeah. Look, it's my fault. I'm not trying to attribute blame to anybody. It was a visa issue on our side that was just simply the wrong type of one. Yeah, it's lesson learned. Craig, I've seen a lot of United fans saying they'd stop supporting United if Southgate was appointed. Lord forbid, but if Southgate ever became our manager, would you stop supporting the club? No, I'd never stop supporting the club. I wouldn't. No matter who they appointed as manager. Would I voice my disapproval strongly? Absolutely. Would I give Gareth Southgate the benefit of the doubt as Liverpool manager? No, I wouldn't. I would expect failure from moment one. And I would expect us to not enjoy the style of football. But do I like the idea of managing Manchester United? I do. I very, very much do. So let's hope Jim Ratcliffe gets his desired target and gets Gareth Southgate in there so we can all just sit back and watch it unfold and enjoy. ESPN Don Hutchinson tried to enter on a tourist visa and he was there to work. See, that's the issue, Tony. That's the issue I had. So really quickly, when you're travelling from Ireland to America, there's a visa waiver program that's called the ESTA. And that's what I've always used to go to and from America. And in the ESTA, it says the ESTA allows you to travel to America for 90 days to holiday or to conduct business. And this is where the mistake came. I presumed that meant we could do the show and we'd registered for tax with the IRS. We'd filled out the withholding forms for tax for the venue. We tried to do everything above board. So when we got to Dublin Airport and I was met with the Homeland Security official, he said, purpose of visit to the US. I said, work. We're doing a show. And then I was informed that even though it says business, it's a common error, but we still needed to have a P1 visa, which is a performance visa, which is why we didn't get to go. So it was a vague understanding of what business meant. And the officer said to me, it isn't uncommon for this mistake to happen. But it's still on me. Whichever way you look at it, it's on me. I didn't have the correct form, and I'm a big enough boy to take that on the chin and learn from my lesson. But it sucks. It sucked, honestly. It was tough. Craig, love watching your streams. Thank you so much, Kyle. Lucho should feel lucky. He plays for Liverpool. Any ideas where to get match tickets for Liverpool? Not too pricey. Can never get them through the club. I'm kind of a bit fortunate that one of our partners, Oosh, is the one that helps me when I need to get tickets for somebody within Anfield Agenda or myself. I don't have a contact that I could say with confidence to you this or that, because it's tough to get tickets these days, and without, as you've pointed out, spending a fortune going through a travel agent or to book one of the hospitality packages, it's really tough, mate. There are probably people in the chat who are a lot better placed to give you some suggestions. For me, as I said, I'm a little bit fortunate that I'm likely going to be going over to the Europa League semi-final, the second leg of it. If we get there, of course. That's going to be my trip over with my friend from Oosh. But other than that, mate, I don't know. I had the same issue as you. I had to pay... I was in a supporters club for a few years and got some trips over with them. But other than that, I had to pay crazy travel agent prices. So, yeah, it's tough, man. And I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. You know, especially towards the end of this season with Jurgen departing. I think it's going to be like gold dust. Karen, how are you? Said, good evening, Craig, Ben and Connor. Hope you're well. Looking forward to the match of the weekend. And same to you, Karen. Yeah, I can't wait for the game. It's been a long couple of weeks without the Reds in action, so counting down the minutes of the weekend, definitely. Tim, very, very kind of you, Tim. Tim has gifted 20 Anfield Agenda memberships. And can I just say for a minute, our community are some of the most caring people I've met. Like, to do this again, like, we all know Brian often gifts a load of subs or memberships. We all know Barry does it as well. But now we've got Tim in there as well, gifting 20 memberships to other viewers of the channel. Tim, sir, gentlemen, thank you. Much appreciated. Pranav said, Craig, I'm desperate to get over to Dublin to watch the Europa League final. Any idea how I can get a pair of tickets and not get scammed? I don't mind paying over the odds. Pranav, leave that with me and I'll get you an answer in the next few days. The only reason I'm saying I might be able to get you an answer is because you said you don't mind paying over the odds. So let me just ask. If I can get you help, I will. If I can't, I'll be honest and say I can't. But just leave it with me, mate. I know you're a long-term viewer of the channel. I know you're very active in the community as well. I'll ask and see if anybody has any ideas. And again, lots of people in the chat thanking Tim, which I love to see as well. Thank you, Tim, for that generosity. What was I looking? Oh, yeah. So, FSG and their search for another club. So, as I'm sure you're aware, there's been a lot of talk over the last 48 hours or so about Toulouse. And some people believe that Liverpool were potentially going to try and buy Toulouse, who, of course, I think are fully or partially owned by Redbird Capital, who are, you know, investors in FSG. But that has been ruled out today categorically, and Liverpool will not be looking to by Toulouse. That was being ruled out today. I think it was, which journalist was it that put this one out? Let me just make sure. I like to credit people where possible. Dave Powell said, contrary to some reports, FSG not looking at acquiring Toulouse, no talks held, none planned. But that doesn't really answer the question of, well, what type of club are Liverpool's owners potentially looking to buy? And this is just a segment again from an article that I read, and it said, another club could help identify talent at an earlier stage, house them, develop them in the Liverpool way, and aid the efforts in getting the required GBE, which is governing body endorsement, points for them to play in England. Another club also provides FSG with another asset, an uncorrelated one at that, one likely to grow in value that can aid player trading and not be beholden to the changes that came or come with the economy. South America is a viable option for FSG, but it seems more likely that Liverpool's owners may look to Europe in a market that offers a route to UEFA competition, which is something that aids GBE, as we mentioned earlier on, governing body points. Aids GBE greatly and can help climate players from continents such as South America or Africa. So I would expect a club either in Portugal or... I don't think France is much. I think Portugal could be an attractive market for FSG, but there's a really good article on The Athletic that breaks down the pros and cons of sizes of different clubs for FSG to buy. If you've got an Athletic subscription, I definitely recommend having a read of it. It's interesting. It is interesting because I never thought about some of the things raised in it about the pros and cons of why buying too big a club might be an issue or too small of a club. Depending on time and date, I'll be at Anfield Agenda at Warrington or Liverpool. Thank you, Kevin. It's probably going to be ideally August the 4th, Kevin, is the date I'm looking at for the Liverpool/Warrington show. August the 4th. What's the latest from Robbo? So he's had his scan, Imran, but we don't know the results of that scan yet. It's Liverpool are hopeful that it's on the not too serious side, as per I think Chris Bascom. But until we get the results, mate, it would be unfair of me to just guess. Jason, how are you, mate? Hey, Craig, where did FSG get the extra coin to consider another club? Did we get investors at Liverpool? I think capital's not a problem, especially if you look at the growth of Liverpool and the equity that's in the club. I think the idea of buying another club, the finances involved aren't going to be as big as they would be, let's say, buying another American sports team. I think it's going to be a far more reasonable sum. Did we get investment? Well, there have been some investments sold out to Redbird Capital, as you know, and a few others. But I don't know how I sit on this one, Jason. Honestly, mate, I'm a bit on the fence about it. I'm not anti multi-club models, but I'm also not really pro multi-club models. It just feels like another way of really, really, really wealthy and powerful funds taking over the sport even more so, and even at a lower end. I don't know, man. I'm on the fence about it because I can see the attractiveness of it for us to, bring through players, train them up, increase their values or whatever. But for the clubs in question that get bought over, I've seen some stories as well of it not being a great experience for those clubs. And I think it's important that we keep football as wide-ranging as possible rather than having a lot of clubs controlled by some really powerful groups, if that makes any sense. I'm probably not explaining that very well, though, Jason, in all honesty, dude. Cheers, dude, all I can ask for. Thank you, Pranav. And I will get back to you, buddy. Don't worry. I won't forget about it. People are saying hello to Barry. Did Barry pop in the chat? Barry, how are you, mate? If you're in. Sorry I haven't seen your comment, dude. But if you are in, welcome in. Hope you're having a good week. Craig, Trent will be going nowhere this summer. I agree, Alex. I never believed Trent would be sold. Trent wants to go on to captain Liverpool Football Club, and I think this is an easy decision for Liverpool. You've got somebody who's coming into his prime years now with Trent. You've got somebody who's already shown his development. You've got somebody who's been promoted to vice captain. So yeah, I think this will be a straightforward, get Trent's contract sorted, give him a new deal, and when Verge hangs up his boots in the future, Trent becomes Liverpool captain. That's what I hope happens. So I agree with you. I don't think he goes anywhere. But it doesn't mean that it stops the likes of Real Madrid sniffing around and being interested. Barry, how are you, mate? Craig, I don't want to mention the V word. Unlucky with that. Really looking forward to the double header Sunday. Good to have you back broadcasting. Much love. V word? Visa. Yeah, I was wondering what you meant there, the V word, Barry. Sorry, I was like, Virgin? Mm-hmm. It's just one of them things, Barry. Like I'm kind of pragmatic in these type of situations. If something is an issue we caused, even if it is a genuine mistake like a wrong visa, I got to take it on the chin, man, and move on. It's the $7,000 that's tough to lose. I won't lie. It's a small business. That's a lot of money to write off. But also, I'm glad it was our money lost and not other people's money. If you get me, I'm like, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but if money's getting lost, I'd rather it doesn't come out of your pockets and we end up losing it. So it is what it is, my man. But appreciate you checking in, and I'm really happy to be back streaming as well. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button tonight, friends, do if you're new to the channel. Also, don't be afraid of the like button. Every time you hit the like button, I heard that, I don't know, I was going to say something about penis length, but that doesn't feel appropriate. I heard an angel gets its wings. Oh, and there is Barry gifting 50 Anfield Agenda memberships. Imagine leaving the stream. Do you know what I mean? Barry comes in, gifts 50. Our friend earlier on gifted 20. Incredible. Thank you so much. You're a very, very kind man, Barry. Thank you. Oh, and Jason, you got gifted a membership, my man. Well in. Jason came in as well. Got gifted a membership. Love it. I'm so glad that YouTube introduced gifted memberships, because obviously when we were elsewhere previously, that was an option, but it wasn't on YouTube. So to come back and see it, it's just a win-win. Obviously, it helps us financially. It helps other people get emojis and other options as well. So, we're also looking into merch as well, because I've been busy. Even though I haven't been streaming and I've been sulking, and I won't lie, I have been sulking a little bit. I've also been really proactive behind the scenes, and we've got some really, really, really top-notch thumbnails that Ben has designed that we're going to be unleashing soon. We've got some amazing tech that's coming near the completion. We've got the shows coming up that we're hoping to announce soon as well. And the channel keeps going from strength to strength, so who knows what we have in store. But we're so proud of all of you guys for being with us and for your kindness to each other as well. You know, it's amazing, because in an age where internet usage for a lot of us is disappointing, to say the least, between trolling and hate and negativity, to come on here every night and experience kindness and fun and genuine friendship towards each other, it really does. It adds to my life in a really positive way, and I'm sure it probably does to yourselves as well. Right, some more information to go through. Just let me get my notes sorted. Where was it? There was something I wanted to go on here. Bear with me, I'm ticking over in my head. I had something I didn't have in my notes that I wanted to speak about, but I can't think of it at the minute, so bear with me. Well said, Craig. Thank you. And look, I don't just say that softly. It really, really is so incredible to not have to be withholding to trolling and crap and spamming. And it's lovely to come on here each night and just have fun and look forward to chatting with you all and hearing your opinions and, you know, getting a consensus on what we think the club's going through at this moment in time. So I'm going to end the poll that we put up earlier on. So we asked you guys to give us your Luis Diaz valuation. The options were £60 million, 70 million, above 70 million, or below 60 million. And with 41% of the vote, the winner is above 70 million quid. Mark as well. Thank you, Mark, for gifting a membership, mate. Very kind. Adam said, Craig, you're the best. Look, mate, my job's easy. You know, I get to just come on and wallow in the awesomeness of you guys in the chat, in all honesty. It's this is a highlight of my day, apart from dinner time. Obviously, look at me, come on, I love my dinner. When I have a bad day like today, said A Santino, your streams and people on the stream keep me sane. I want to thank everyone on the Anfield Agenda and fans. Love that, mate. Love that. And right back to you. And I'm sure people in the chat will, again, feel similarly. So thank you for that. Diaz is not worth above 70 million. Never. I agree with you, Sergu. I agree with you. And that's why I was interested in the poll. If you're asking me for a valuation of Lucho, £60 million is about where I'm at with his valuation. So I'm with you. I don't think 70. I think 70 million plus is optimistic. But then again, when we did the similar thing with Mohamed Salah, people I thought were a bit too optimistic in their valuations there as well. Unpopular take, said that guy. Sell Robbo. He's not been good enough for the last 2 years and he's 30 now, so cash in while we can. Thoughts? I'd slightly tweak it. I'd keep Robbo and sell Costas and then look to get the competitor that we really feel can take over from Robbo, because I don't feel Costas is ever going to be that guy. I feel like Costas is a grand deputy to bring in and gives a bit of variation with the fact that he's more of a winger than a left back. So I would probably look to sell Costas and then bring in somebody who's ready to compete with Robbo, or maybe look at Luke Chambers, who is another option, of course, out on loan presently. But you're not the first person to mention that possibility. I'm just... I agree with you that his level has dropped off this season. Whether that's a mix of the injuries and fatigue or age catching up on him, I don't know. But I still love Andy Robertson. I do. I love him. And I'd rather keep him and sell Costas. But I appreciate where you're coming from. Edwards will flog him for 120 mil. I missed 2 super chats. Yeah, I was working my way through them. Don't worry. Let me go back up. Mr. Buffett said, my dad, a Northern Irishman, reckons we sell Trent. I don't think your dad's right on that one, mate. I think Trent will get a new contract at Liverpool. And I think that's what he wants, which gives me some comfort, because I was concerned when I seen the Real Madrid links, and I think about his friendship with Bellingham, of course, and I was thinking, but it's difficult to talk about transfers really till we know who the manager is, because we don't know what the manager's preference is going to be. Gino Salvador Moran said, please come to Australia someday, dude, someday. But if I go to Australia, I've said it before, I want it to be for like 6 weeks, because it's a long way to go. So we'll get there someday, just not quite yet. What about Davies? Well, we talk again. You're gonna have to be more specific than Davies, because my stupid brain's not copping who you mean now. Robbo's starting to pick up a lot of injuries. Might have to look for long-term replacement, and he becomes a player off the bench. As I said, I love Robbo, and I think Robbo still has a lot to offer. So for me, the more sensible idea would be to sell Costas, who I never see being a starter regularly at Liverpool. Unfortunately, looks like a really sound guy. Just, I don't know if he'll ever make it. And I think this summer, that would be where I would look to move on a left back if we were to look to sell one. Oh, you're talking about Alphonso Davies. Oh yeah, that to Madrid, that's been done ages. Yeah, that I told you guys about 3 months ago that Alphonso Davies would be going to Real Madrid, because he was unwilling to extend at Bayern, and Madrid need a fullback. And I think, if I'm right, Davies has 1 year to go at the end of this season, and Bayern won't be stupid enough to lose him on a free. My daughter got all excited, sent me a message about the confirmation of Toffee Yum Yum coming back. That's how excited she was. I'd like to see us go for Branthwaite. Everton can't be picky about who they sell to. So I feel like the opportunity for us to try and get Branthwaite was last year. Unfortunately, I get a bad feeling we could see him at Manchester United. I say bad feeling because I really rate him as well. I think Branthwaite's a very, very good young centre-back. Rob is our shithouse player. The fans love and rivals hate. Exactly. Robbo is a spectacular wind-up merchant, as well as a really, really intense, devoted player. And I love Andy Robertson. So yeah, I'm fully on board with the keeping Robbo scenario. Oh, yes, Stefan Bajcetic. April is, sometime in April, is believed when Stefan gets back on the pitch now. Unfortunately, it's almost a year lost, but the club want to make sure they get it right, and that when Stefan gets back playing, that he's not going to suffer the same. What was it Jurgen described it as? I guess, I don't want to say growing pains, but it's the physicality and the maturing into the Premier League and the rigours of Premier League football that was taking its toll on Bajcetic. So hopefully, although this has been a terrible year for him, I think he still has a lot to give moving forward for the club. Craig, I'm sorry I can't come to, I don't know what you mean, but something in Oxfordshire. You live in Oxfordshire, is that what you're saying? Look, again, I hope to get down towards London. I think if that's your neck, I don't know, my English geography's not great. I hope to get down to that neck of the woods at some point as well. What happened to Bajcetic? It was fatigue and I want to say growing pains, but ultimately it was just his body wasn't ready for continuous senior football at Premier League level, which isn't uncommon. I think it happened to Gerrard as well, if my memory's right, when he was coming through, and I think it's frustrating now, but in the long term I think we'll see the benefit of this, and I think Stefan will see the benefit of it as well. I'm not going back over the Boston show again, if you don't mind me saying. LEL Werewolf. I've explained it loads, dude. And long story short, visa problem at the airport, unfortunately. Thoughts on Kobe Mainu? I'm concerned about him, but not for the reason you might think. Kobe Mainu is a really good talent, but I feel like because he plays for Manchester United and because Manchester United are so crap this season, he's being overhyped, but not because he's not good enough. I think Kobe Mainu is a great footballer, but I feel like he should be left alone yet. I don't think he's ready to be going in playing regularly for England yet. Nor do I think he is as good yet as many have made out. I think it's to do with the club he's at. Like, lots of questions have been asked as well about why no Elliott. You know, Elliott's done incredibly well at under 21 for England. Again, in the recent international break, why no Elliott love from Southgate? But look, Kobe Mainu is a great footballer, but I think English football fans need to be careful because you don't want another player burned out too early in his career by giving him too much football too soon. Undoubted talent. The kid is a real good footballer. But I think they need to pace him a little bit and not... I don't want to see another player from the Premier League and I guess another young player built up to be knocked back down again quickly. Somebody needs to be looking out for him and making sure that his progress is done at a pace and at a standard that is fair to him. Hoarder Bjarnason, thank you, my friend, for the super sticker. You're very kind. The UK media overhype every young English footballer. Oh, see, I think that's only half the problem, though. It's the overhyping to overly criticise. I think there's two edges of that sword. So yes, they overhype players, but it's the way that the English media can rip them apart as well. Like, I don't know what it is about the English media, but it's almost like they want to sabotage England at every international tournament possible because something always comes out before or during a tournament that I've not noticed with any other FAs really, but that seems to want to almost undermine the English national team. I find it weird as obviously a non-English person. Craig, if Xabi Alonso's Liverpool manager next season, do we expect to be in a title race? It's a very good question, Khaled. I think I do, mate. Yeah, I think I do. Like, if we weren't in a title race, I wouldn't be overly concerned as long as we were comfortably in that Champions League place and, you know, we were showing decent progression through the Champions League and one of the domestic cups. I would definitely be of an open mind to understanding that it might take a bit time for him to really hit the ground running, because also this is going to be a shortened summer for the next manager that comes in. A lot of the players will be playing international tournaments. There'll be a lot of transfer business to be done quickly. So I think I would understand if there was a slower start next season or it took a little bit of time to fully understand the system and the style of play he wants. So I don't know about a title challenge. It wouldn't be the end of the world if we weren't in a title challenge, but I think the squad is good enough with a couple of additions and the young players coming through that it's not out of the realms of possibility that we could be there or thereabouts. Thoughts on Luis Diaz, dad comments. I mentioned them at the start of the stream, Benjamin, and quite frankly, I'm getting sick of them. Look, I say things in a very harsh tone that some people think is too far at times, but my mindset is this. If you aren't fully committed in every way, shape and form to being part of Liverpool and the greater Liverpool family, then off you pop. You know, if Liverpool aren't good enough, find a way out and off you pop. And I don't have any want for Luis Diaz to leave, but I am getting very sick of his dad talking about Spain, especially after what the club have done for the family. It feels really, really ungrateful. And I can't lie about it. That's how I feel. I feel like he needs to shut up or find a way for his son to go to Spain. But either way, it's not going to end. It's not going to endear him to Liverpool fans, and it's not going to do any positive for his son. So I don't understand why he keeps running his mouth. What do you think about Ian Wright's comments about City? Finally, someone on TV spoke about it. He didn't speak about it. He brought it up, but then he also said something along the lines of, and I am paraphrasing, we want those charges to be... No, maybe he didn't say I want those charges, but he said he wanted the charges resolved. And look, whilst I agree it is good somebody said it, I don't feel it's strong enough from the media in general on the Manchester City situation. But look, you know my thoughts on that. I speak about it ad nauseum, and you don't need me banging on about City again. But look, I like Ian Wright. I've always liked Ian Wright. I think he's one of the better pundits, and I like his personality. Yep, I like Ian Wright. What's your opinion if Alonso becomes Liverpool and Torres as his assistant? There's no need for Torres as his assistant. I mean, I understand that Torres is the Atleti under-19s or under-21 manager and he's on a pathway himself, but Alonso will have his own team that he'd want to bring in with him. So, look, Alonso is, whoever he brings in, grand, but Alonso is definitely my number one choice, and I'm sure most people's. When did the stream start? 8:30, mate. 8:30 every night is when we do the streams. Thoughts on Gomez for England, said Imran. I think it's a very astute addition for Gareth Southgate to the England squad, because, in international football, especially tournament football, you're limited to who you can bring, how many players, how many positions you can cover. And Joe Gomez would give Gareth Southgate incredible options, in a range of positions, either full-back, centre-back. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to be utilised in a holding midfield role, but we've seen him do it for Liverpool. So, yeah, I think it's clever of Southgate, and I think it's the right move. Did I see Littler on the happy hour? He was on there a while back, to be fair, I think. I didn't watch the episode, but I knew he was on there, certainly. If Manchester City don't get charged, I'm done. There's no reason to watch Liverpool anymore because Man City will just automatically win everything. So when I talk about the Manchester City situation, I have to be careful because I was told some things that I wouldn't dare say on the stream because they're very, very serious accusations to make. So I'm going to bite my tongue on those. But let's just say tip of the iceberg is a phrase that I would use. Irish people are the best. We're not bad, Harder. We're not bad, mate. We're a good old group of people, all right. Soren, how are you, my friend? Thank you for your super chat. Said, what do you think about the rumours of Pep leaving City sooner rather than later? What do I think about that? Well, I don't know if it's true or not, but I would again, Soren, remind our good friend Mr. Pep Guardiola that he was putting it out there that he'd stay on if they were relegated, and potentially even sign an extension. And, he wanted these charges dealt with quickly, even though Manchester City have gone out of their way to make sure that they aren't dealt with quickly in any way, shape or form, putting up obstacles along the way. And there is no hope in hell that Guardiola stays there if they get relegated. Not a hope. None. Zero. But I think the bigger thing here is the man's reputation's in the bin if these charges are proven, because he nailed his colours to the mast very quickly, and I'm going to be honest about this. I think almost mocked the rest of us in the way that he defended his club and pulled a Howard Webb, trying to tell the rest of us that what we've seen with our own eyes isn't really happening. So whatever anybody associated with Manchester City gets, if there's punishments to be had, every single one of them deserve it. Because even if, I'm going to be honest about it, Soren, even if they are proven to have gotten away with it, I'm still never accepting that they aren't grubby. Never. Because it's horseshit. And for me, if they get away with it, it's not because, again, they're innocent. It's because they'll find a way, whether that's a technicality or whether that's potential geopolitical influence. The whole thing, mate, is just scummy, in my opinion, from start to finish. The 3 away games against Fulham, Everton and West Ham within a week might end up defining our entire season. I think there's actually 4 within a week, but one of them I think is the Europa game. But yeah, you're right, mate. It's a big week. That Everton game I think has been confirmed April 22nd, if I'm right. Do you remember how much City paid for Haaland in 2022? I remember the headline figure that they told the world they paid for Haaland, but that didn't include some of the real fees that I think we all knew were attached to that deal as well, to hanger-oners. And I think it was around, I want to say it was around 40-something million, something like that. But again, that's the number we're told he cost. Any Alisson injury news? Imran, he was the only player today, mate, when I looked into the injury updates that there was no date on. It just said unknown yet. If you watch the documentary, you will have no doubt they're guilty. Barry Taylor said, "Oh, look, I urge you all to watch that. Britain's biggest football scandal. Free documentary with some really, really influential journalists and contributors to it that paints a very clear picture of the whole Manchester City scenario." So, yeah, do watch it. Britain's biggest football scandal. And if you want more reading up on it, Google Der Spiegel Manchester City leaks. It's quite simply disgusting, in my opinion, some of the brazen ways that they've gone about their business. And as I've said, I will refuse to acknowledge that they're innocent, even if they are innocent. And you can call me bitter about that all you want. I don't care. I know what I have seen. I know I'm not an idiot. Let me just put it that way. And we all know that Manchester City aren't a big worldwide club. We all know that they project this growth that I don't think actually exists in my mind. And look into the directors that have been attached to some of these sponsorships or some of the companies that they've partnered up with. Look into the images of those. Look into the background and trading patterns of some of these companies. And I think you'll have more questions than answers. Who's our best midfield if everyone is fit? Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai would be the first names off my tongue. If you're asking me for 3, that would be it for me. I'm so happy we're seeing Alexis McAllister settle in now. You know, he scored a goal for Argentina again the other night, or last night against Costa Rica. And I feel like he's really starting to find his groove now that Endo is behind him and he's in a more familiar role. And I think we're starting to see the player we thought we were bringing in. Chelsea and City could both be guilty. I think in the next few years, one or both clubs could be finished. To be fair to Chelsea's new owners, I have a lot of stuff to mock Todd Bowley about, but they did self-report, in fairness to them. Once they uncovered potential anomalies in previous documents or the financials of the club, they did report that to the Premier League themselves. And like I've always said, I have a lot more sympathy for people who hold their hands up or at least assist the process. Whereas with Manchester City, we've seen the very opposite of that. So I'll give Bowley credit for that. But what happened before with Abramovich, look, we all kind of felt like that they were spending more money than they had. And they averaged 900 grand a week loss for, I think, 17 years or something. So am I surprised that there are some potential iffy payments or questionable payments around the Samuel Eto'o transfer and the Willian transfer? No. But let's see what happens. Did you see that Lavia is out for the season? Look, I'm not going to wish an injury on anybody. I mean, Lavia and Caicedo are being punished enough by having to play at Chelsea. I mean, they don't need me to add to that for them. Two very stupid decisions from both of them for their careers, particularly Caicedo. But, you know, they made their choices, and we've got Endo. And let's be honest, Endo's been amazing and keeps getting better as well. And wants to be here, which is important. Who do you think will win the FA Cup? Man City. I think you'll have an all-Manchester final, and City will do what they always do, which is beat Manchester United. Speaking of injuries, I haven't read up any updates on Gravenberch. Gravenberch was in the squad, mate, for the game against United, so he's back fit and ready to go. Just didn't start the game against United, but was on the bench. Will they take Man City's trophies away if found guilty? I don't believe so, Nick. No. And I got to say as well, mate, I don't want anybody... I think us and United would both get a league title or two extra, but honestly, I don't want it. I don't want any of Manchester City's ill-gotten gains, because I think it would make a stronger statement if those years had just a big asterisk beside them. And then people look at the asterisks and go, well, why did nobody win the Premier League those years? And then they read down the bottom to say that Manchester City had won them but were stripped of them because of cheating, if they were found guilty. Levi or Silva, Craig, for us? Levi Colwill or Antonio Silva? Was that the question, Gino? Colwill. Yeah, Levi Colwill, because of the homegrown part as well. But Antonio Silva is a really, really, really good young centre-back, and we may get a chance to see him up close if Benfica get past Marseille and we get past Atalanta. You know, we'll play against Benfica then in the semi, so we'll get to have a look at him up close. Craig, if Chelsea get the book thrown at them, is there any player from there that you would like us to try and sign? Yeah, Colwill, probably. Who else was there from Chelsea that I wouldn't mind? I like Enzo Fernandez, but no way Liverpool are going to go in and pay stupid money for him, and they're right not to. Not really. No, not really. There's not really that many players at Chelsea I look at and feel jealous about. Cole Palmer, I think he's at a club that suits him. Doesn't strike me as a Liverpool type of player, but is a very good footballer nonetheless. Or they could just put a star in the asterisks. I don't know. I just wouldn't. I always think of it this way. Like, I always feel sorry for the Olympians who get their medal in a small ceremony or something years later after it's been proven that somebody doped and took performance-enhancing drugs. You're never getting that moment back again. And whoever was denied titles if City are found guilty of cheating, none of us will get that moment back. If it's a league title for us or United, or those moments are gone. And we've been robbed of those. Football has been robbed of those. So it would just feel shallow and empty. So for me personally, no, just leave them with no winners and let the world know why. Nkunku was good. Yeah, but honestly, my thing about Nkunku would be, as soon as PSG come calling, Nkunku goes running, because he's been very honest, to be fair, and said that Paris are the club of his heart and he wants to go back there someday. So that would be a concern with Nkunku. It was like, his heart's not here from day one, really. If somebody else came a calling, off he'd pop, and yeah, I'd be uncomfortable with that personally. Craig, have you read that they want to send Rubiles to jail for 2 years over that case? This is a very sensitive subject, obviously, Dave. Suffice to say, I think that's a nonsense. I'm not trying to in any way defend. the actions. But I think this is, it's just gone into too big of a situation at this point. But it's not for me to really discuss it. It's between the Spanish FA, the Spanish prosecutors, him, the lady in question. It's just, I find it hard to see somebody get sent to prison for 2 years for a kiss, albeit unwelcomed, unwanted, and yet know of many people who have received lesser sentences for far more substantial sexual assault. So it feels like overkill, but it's also not my situation really to discuss, especially because in other countries' laws and rules. I do think, though, if I'm not mistaken, that if you get a sentence in Spain of 2 years or less, and it isn't for a violent crime, I think you can pay a fine. Open to being corrected on that, though. Would you like to see Theo Hernandez at Liverpool? Absolutely not. No way at all. I think he's completely overhyped. No, not for me. Imran said, we have to put the United game behind us and go all out, all guns blazing against Brighton. Don't give them a chance to settle an early goal and control the game. Yes, and don't forget, we're also now up against the PGMOL, who have bestowed upon us the gift of David Coote being the referee with Paul Tierney on VAR. It's like they're taunting us at this point, and that's genuinely what I feel like. The PGMOL are taunting us now. Right, my friends, I am going to head off for the evening, but tomorrow we'll be live at 8:30 again, of course, and we'll be putting out a news video again around 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow as we look to build up towards a massive, massive weekend. And on Sunday, as I've been saying to you guys previously, we're going to do back-to-back games on Anfield Agenda. We're going to do Liverpool's game against Brighton. Then we're going to go straight into a watch-along of Manchester City against Arsenal. After that, we'll do our match reaction show because we'll know what way we are with the league table at that point. And the player ratings video will come out then as well. So we will be live for about 6 continuous hours. Well, there'll be a 10-minute break. But other than that, we'll be live for about 6 hours on Sunday right here. So do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Please do drop a like. Let's try and get that to 500 before we say goodbye for the evening. And again, thank you for joining me tonight. Lots of fun as always. And yeah, games are going to come thick and fast. No more international breaks between now and the end of the campaign. And as soon as we have more information on those shows as well, I will let you guys know. Don't forget, download SofaScore from the link at the top of the chat, in the description, or by scanning the QR code on the screen. Appreciate you.